They are putting millions in this thing. Most of it life savings, most of them lifetime investment is their lifetime goal and all that.
This topic is something that has caused a lot of fights in WhatsApp group. It's something that has caused a lot of fights on site. It's an argument that is just so endless, and that's the client versus contractor. Who is responsible for what?
The client is the one sponsoring everything. Does not mean he should always be dictating what he should do. He can dictate the results he wants to get,
Okay.
but he cannot really dictate all the process.
Would you say most constructions conflicts come from bad contractors or difficult clients?
Most of them, I will put it more on the contractor.
So now, as someone who is not really so keen and not so invested in the construction space, one thing I've noticed is unrealistic expectations. It might be expectation from the timeline, it might be expectation from the budget, it might even be expectation of what they want to achieve with that project. So how do you handle such a client?
For me, there's almost nothing unachievable. It's all about what are the cost implications and what are the, circumstances around it. There is one general rule about time, money, and quality. So if you want to get quality on time, you cannot save money. If you want to build a duplex in the span of 6 months and you want to build it in the span of 1 year, there will be a cost implication.
So why does this sometimes feel like once payment is made, the relationship between the client and contractor suddenly like it just changes? It goes from 100 to 0 sometimes, except if you're very good at handling relationship with clients. So how do you navigate this?
Okay, it's a vice versa thing.
Okay.
Right? Some contractors too,
Okay.
they pay a lot of attention to clients before collecting money. Right? Immediately they collect money, communication drops, the clarity, the attention that they give the client before drops.
Hello everyone, welcome to another insightful episode with Realistic Projects. My name is Favor Orok and I'll be your host and moderator for this conversation. Now, if you've been following this series, you would understand that every week we sit with the managing director of Realistic Projects, Mr. Debayo Giwa, and we've been having honest and practical conversations around construction, sites, project management, and everything people truly need to know about construction. And honestly, most of these conversations have been so insightful and eye-opening. So if you've missed any of our previous episodes, you don't need to worry. Just head over to Realistic Project on YouTube and also Realistic Project on Instagram. And peradventure you need to make inquiries and ask questions, you can contact the number below or reach out to Realistic Project on Instagram. Of course, if at any point during any of these sessions something comes to your mind for professional guidance, you can also do the same. Make that inquiries today. Because beyond this conversation, Realistic Project is that brand that is committed to helping people build wisely, professionally, and realistically, from planning to design, construction, and to also delivering your vision in the most realistic form. Now, today's topic. This topic is something that has caused a lot of fights in WhatsApp group. It's something that has caused a lot of fights on site. It's an argument that is just so endless, and that's the client versus contractor. Who is responsible for what? At some cases, we see when the contractor is trying to play the role of a client and when the client is trying to play the role of a contractor. Now I'm here with Mr. Debayo Giwa, who is the managing director of Realistic Project, and he's here to point the light, to bring into limelight who is responsible for who. So I'm going to nudge you to sit back and enjoy the ride. Now let's get right into it. So client versus contractor. Let's start from the differentiation. Who is the client and who is the contractor?
Okay, the client is the owner of the vision, the owner of the dream, the owner of whatever anybody now wants to do on it. And most cases, the client is also the financier of that dream. That is, the client is the person who is engaging other people to carry out the project, the building he or she wants to build, while the contractor is the engaged person, the person that was hired to carry out the vision, to do the work, to do the day-to-day activities, to make sure that the activity, the dream, and what the client wants is being achieved.
So now this question is a little tricky. So can a client be a contractor and can a contractor be a client?
It's a bit dicey. There are cases where such happen, where there's a kind of collaboration, where the client is also like financing, where the contractor is also financing part of the project.
Okay.
So that's a kind of partnership, right? So if it's partnership and collaboration, the client is in some way the contractor is also in some way the client. Both are doing each other's favor. But when it is a case whereby the client stand alone, which is the most cases, hire a contractor, right? So the client stays on his own as a contractor, as a client, while the contractor collects money and do what is supposed to be done.
Now, when people talk about responsibility, it looks like it's a very hard nut to crack because we're adults, and it feels like the most difficult kind of human, or the most difficult kind of thing to control are human beings. Now, we've seen cases where people want to switch their roles, and then they will say something like, I'm an adult, you can't tell me what to do, all this kind of thing. Now, how do we understand the role of a client, and how do we understand the role of a contractor?
Okay, it starts from the beginning where both parties state their responsibility clearly.
Okay.
Because projects the nature of each contract is peculiar to the situation of that kind of project.
Yeah.
So the client and the contractor must have a stated document that states the responsibility of the client and the responsibility of the contractor. Now, because the client is the head of everybody, because the client is the one sponsoring everything, does not mean if that client want the contractor and every other person engaged to achieve what they want to achieve, does not mean he should always be dictating what they should do. He can dictate the results he wants to get, but he cannot really dictate all the process. So their professional process to get to the result you want, you need to be careful in how you play like on the neck of your contractors, to do what you need them to do for you. It is only, yes, you can be observant, right? You can be observant in a way that if the contractor is doing something and is not yet looking like what you want it to be, it's like it's not close, then you can escalate. Then you need clarity. So the contractor has to be able to clarify and justify why it's still like that, and why he will be able to get to the results you want. So that one is fine. But it's in a case whereby you are always inclusive on how they work day by day, what they have done, how did they do it, then there is a breach of responsibility in that. The responsibility of the client is to state the things he or she needs, the vision, the kind of building you want to achieve, what you want to achieve it for, and all that. Then clear all bottlenecks that your contractor might be having, maybe approval issue, maybe documentation issue that you need to provide for them to get things out, right? Then finance. In construction, money is being spent every day. Construction is, based on cash flow. So providing funds as when due, maybe according to how you agree with the contract, maybe by percentage or by milestone reached. So all those ones are where the client then once in a while check, okay, if they say they will achieve this within this period of time, maybe they want to achieve the substructure, that's the foundation, within 2 months. Okay, so getting close to 2 months, what have they done? How close are they to the schedule? Those are the things clients want to watch over. So it is when those things are not looking clear enough, that is when you need to escalate. Look around, ask questions, call for a meeting, sort out whatever bottlenecks that is coming up. But the client is not supposed to be like totally inclusive, right? So the client have his or her own business to face. Because the people you hire are, what you hire them for is their own business, is their own day-to-day activity. So the client is also expected to be on their own activity while the contractor. Now, what is the role of the contractor? The contractor is to do their job that is being paid for, right? So get clarity as much as you need from the client, from the design stage, from the bill of quantities, from approved drawings on all categories: architectural, structural, mechanical, EL views, and all other drawings and all that around this, and develop your program of work that will state when and when you want to achieve each milestone of the project, and clear communication, clear reporting. If the client is getting regular reporting, regular clarification, there won't be need for them to be, it is when most times in reality, right? Most times it is when clients are not getting clarity, are not understanding what is going on. That's where they are always worried. Because come on, they are putting millions in this thing. Most of it life savings, most of them lifetime investments is their lifetime goal and all that. So if they are not getting clarity and they are seeing things not going well, they will be worried.
True.
So, and you have to, the contractor is very important. It's very important for the contractor to make sure that their clients are not so worried. Clients will still be worried till the end of the project. That one is normal because they feel like they are putting so much in it. But for you to now be clearing them, giving them clarity from time to time is your job as a contractor. And not only talking it, doing the talk, doing what is being said, them seeing it that, okay, this person told me that this and this is the reason why this is like this last 2 weeks. And he said after 2 weeks, you see that all those things will be sorted. And after that 2 weeks, all those things are sorted. So those are the things that the beyond doing the actual work, beyond the contractor doing the actual work, reporting regularly, giving your clients clarity is the job of the contractor.
Right. So if we are being honest, construction is all about cement, block, and drawings. So let's look at this from the angle of conflict resolution and communication.
Okay.
So if relationship and communication, trust and accountability is missing, we all agree that there's going to be like a breach of interest at some point. So from your years of experience running realistic projects, would you say most constructions conflicts come from bad contractors or difficult clients, or simply poor communication between both sides?
Okay, most of them, I will put it more on the contractor.
Okay.
Why? If your client is tag difficult, they own the money, they know how they earn the money.
True.
They might want to be difficult, right?
Yeah.
So you are to know that, can I manage this client or not? He or she is the owner of their money, right? So, and you are to now see that, okay, for me to achieve this thing for this client, can I manage this client on giving clarity, giving them understanding, and can the client work with my terms? Now, there's something called qualifying a lead, right? This means if you have a lead, a prospect, you want to qualify, before the person becomes a prospect, you want to qualify that, can I work with this person? Okay. So as the contractor, if you want to hire somebody to do something, you want to check that, can this person do what I want to hire them for? So as the client wants to qualify the contractor, the contractor too wants to qualify the client. So those are the things of early stage. So if you qualify your client, if the client meets, aside money, aside the funding aspect, does the client meet some of the qualities I need from a client to work with? So if is the client somebody that wants to hear my professional advice too? If it's the kind of client that don't want to hear from the beginning, you should know that when you get into the job, they will not hear too, because if they have not paid you and they are not, so you also need to qualify your clients. So if you qualify your clients properly before onboarding them, and you also onboard them properly, then you have solved those issues. You have solved most of the issues that should be coming up when you start the project itself. So those are the issues around it. So it's more the contractor to do your due diligence on your clients before onboarding the project. Okay.
So when onboarding some of these clients, are there instances where terms and conditions would be exchanged and they have to like pen down a signature that, oh, I agree to follow your terms and conditions, not just by mouth saying alone?
Yes, it is very important. All those are part of the contract agreement. So aside the bill of quantities, after that one has been concluded, then there is those terms and conditions agreements, which states all the, so in realistic projects we do that. There is a document that states all the responsibility of the client. There's a document that states all the responsibility of the contractor, which is us, and we sign accordingly. And we give clarity. And if there should be some, because like I said, the nature or the agreement that will be in each, though there are some general terms, but there are some cases whereby some terms are based on the nature and peculiar to that particular project. So if there are needs for adjustments, then there will be adjustment in the terms on. And also, if you have noticed some things from your experience as a contractor, if you have noticed some things that from the communication and from the way I'm looking at the nature of these projects, there might be something, there are some silence culture that is playing out.
Okay.
You have to now state it. To add it to your terms and conditions to make sure that, okay, these things is like the client is more silent on it, or even if the client also feels that the contractor is more silent on this area, it means something is fishy, something might come up on that area. So it has to be brought up, add to the terms and conditions of that project, the agreement of that project, so that when issue want to arise, you can take each other back to what bind us together. Yeah.
So in a case where there is a breach of contract and a conflict of interest between a client and a contractor, how does it get resolved? Or let's start from this angle. What do you think, in your years of experience, what do you think is like one of the major causes of breach of conflict or conflict of interest, breach of contract? What do you think is the major cause?
Yeah, the major cause starts from lack of clarity from the beginning.
Okay.
Which are some of the things we have explained earlier.
Yeah.
Not properly. Some people, the way they come together to do a job is that you call a contractor, the contractor develop their bill of quantities, and you just agree that, okay, they brought 250 million, you agree to 230 million. That's the only thing that connects them together. Wow. So no other clarification around things. It's only the bill of quantities. And bill of quantities is just the financial aspect of the contract. There are other terms, there are other conditions, there are other agreements on how the job is going to go that have to be mentioned properly. So those are the things that, sort out things. Now, we have talked about the beginning. Okay, what if those things are now done? What about people that are having that issue currently? So how is that solved? Is to go back to the table. Everybody needs to come together again.
Okay.
Now, okay, these are this. So, and both parties needs to accept their weaknesses, accept their mistakes, and accept their lapses.
Okay.
So when that one is now done, all right, then they need to, put those terms together where they see that they both did not understand. They need to put those terms together to solve it. And if it's now becoming something that both of them don't want to have the understanding, they have to call a third party. Okay. So if they are third party that are professionals, they should help them because most times clients feel like they are cheated in situation like that the developer, the contractor or the builder did not do what they are supposed to do with the money given to them. So in the process of that, and the client may not understand the technical terms on maybe on the bill of quantities and all that. So there has to be a third party, maybe who is a professional, or a third party who is a business person that can help them, to try to let everybody know where their issue is. Yeah. And there's another form of which they call maybe arbitration. There are other form where professionals can come together to help them resolve things. And so the last one, that when all those things are not being able to be sorted, where both parties don't want to come together, or coming together they are both not satisfied, adding third party, they are both not satisfied. Okay. That's when they go to the court of law. Oh,
not even that they can separate, they have to go to the court of law?
Yes, separation can happen if if the issue is not around just financial. Okay. If they feel like, okay, the level that you are getting my project to, I'm not satisfied, I want to cut off, that one is fine. You can just cut off, no this thing. But there are some cases whereby maybe the contractor charged maybe 100 million to complete the project, and he has taken maybe 90% of that, and the project is not even close to. Maybe now requesting for a very unjustified amount of money. So, there are cases whereby it can happen that you need to show your clients, and if there's enough clarity about it, then money can be requested. But if it's not justifiable, the client can feel like, wow, with all this money and this is the little you're able to achieve, the gap is so much, then it can be taken up more than that.
Wow. So now, as someone who is not really so keen and not so invested in the construction space, one thing I've noticed from people or from clients per se is unrealistic expectations. So immediately the contractors start complaining about their unrealistic expectations. where do you think the disconnection starts from? Or let's put it this way. Now, a client wants to build, comes to the contractor. Oh, this is what I have in mind to do. This is what I want. I mean, you're telling the contractor your vision since you're the one financing it. Now, the contractor tells you this is unrealistic. How do you explain to that client that this expectation you want from me, it might be expectation from the timeline, it might be expectation from the budget, it might even be expectation of what they want to achieve with that project. So how do you handle such a client?
Okay, now, whether it's realistic or not,
Okay.
is it written down? Is it stated? All right.
Yeah.
So the contractor have more job to do to achieve the dream of his or her client.
Okay.
Right. So what are those things? Is it timeline? Is it
The budget?
the budget? Right. Is it how they want the designs of the building?
Okay.
Is it those things? So all those things have to be listed. Now, why are they not realistic? Right?
Yeah.
That is where you now need to explain to the clients. And for me, there is almost nothing unachievable. It's all about what are the cost implications and what are the circumstances around it, or what are the obstacles that is blocking it from being achieved. And those are the things the client now needs to know that, okay, this thing, yes, for it to be achievable, is going to cost you more money and time.
Okay.
Some, if it's time, when you want to save time, you spend more money. So,
Yeah.
there is one general rule about time, money, and getting quality. So,
Yeah.
if you want to get quality on time, you cannot save money. Right?
Yeah.
If you want to get quality and you want to get that quality on time, you spend more money to get it. All right? If you want to get something of quality and you don't want to spend more money, it means time will go.
Yeah.
It means that it has to be patiently done. Right? So those are the terms that fall into construction too. So if it's about a particular type of quality, right, and the client is willing to spend the money, then you go and do it. If the money cannot do it, it will show in the bill of quantities.
True.
Yeah. If it's a kind of design, for example, if the structural design says it can work, then you can achieve it. You as a contractor, you have to implement all the designs that is being done. So now, thank God in construction, all the things that you really need, that the clients may need, will have shown in the plan.
Yeah.
Okay, it's now for you to let the client know that if we want to get this quality, this is the cost, right? And if we want to get it done on time, also, this is also the cost. If you want to build a duplex in the span of 6 months and you want to build it in the span of 1 year, there will be a cost implication on both parties.
Yeah.
Right. So all those things have to be considered. So you should not always stay on the side of not being realistic. You should not always be on the side that what your clients want is not really realistic. No, they just need to know what are the obstacles around it for them to understand, then make a decision. Yes, it's quite sometimes that, like I said earlier in our past sessions, is that everybody wants a value that is more than their money. Something like that. It's just what people like, I want to spend 100 million, but I want to get something that will be of value of 150 million. Everybody feel like that. But in reality, it doesn't happen like that. So it's now for you to now let your client understand those scenarios. So if what the client wants to achieve will cost 250 million, right, and you let them know that for us to achieve this, and especially in the time frame that you said, and know that this is what, but if we want to reduce or expand the time frame, it will cost this. If we want to adjust some structural members, it will cost this. So the client can now feel like, okay, what if I do some things and arrive to 200 million to do this job, right? Or I do some things, or I leave it what is there, and I do my thing for that to 50 million. So whatever the client desire is, as far as is being stated and whenever you notice some things, you escalate before the issue gets
Out of hand.
So all those things will solve issues.
Wow. So now the next one I want to ask is something that it doesn't just happen with building construction alone. It's something that it cuts across different businesses too.
Okay.
Now a client comes to you, you see them milk, calm, telling you, oh, this is my vision, like in the coolest of way that they can tell you. But immediately they pay the money. Oh my God. It feels like as if you're in a talking stage with them. It feels like as if you owe them your life like this. The way they will be on your neck, the way they will put so much pressure on you. So why does this sometimes feel like once payment is made, the relationship between the client and contractor suddenly, like, it just changes? It goes from 100 to 0 sometimes, except if you're very good at handling relationship with clients. So how do you navigate this?
Okay, it's a vice versa thing.
Okay.
Right? Some contractors too,
Okay.
they pay a lot of attention to clients before collecting money. Right? Immediately they collect money and the communication drops, the clarity, the attention that they give the client before drops. So sometimes that is where the shift comes from.
Wow.
So because the client, before paying you, they even want more attention, more information, more details when they have paid you. Now, it now boils down to how is your own process too.
Okay.
There are some things that when we want to onboard the job, we let the client know that if you pay, you are going to give us like 2 weeks, 3 weeks before we finally move to the project, because we want to prepare. We want to prepare our artisans, we want to prepare like the site preparation, we want to prepare our procurement schedule, like our vendors to supply us materials. We want to prepare all those things. So because you pay us today, right, so and those things should have been in your proposal, in your quote, before you receive money. So if you do not tell your client to give you 2 or 3 weeks before moving to the project, before collecting money, if you tell them after collecting money, they might feel somehow. So if it is in your proposal from the beginning that, okay, if we pay, when you pay us, there is allowance of 2 or 3 weeks or 4 weeks thereabout before we move to site fully, because we need to prepare for so and so. You know, the client will have seen it.
Yeah.
So when they now pay you, they know that before they can trouble you is until they don't see sign of you moving to site within that period of time that you mentioned.
Exactly.
So that would have given you the space and breathing space to do your preparation.
Yeah.
And even within that, you still have to be having a way of updating and communicating. For example, if you tell the client that when you pay for this project, you will give us 2 weeks for us to move to site properly. In that 2 weeks, you should not be silent. There are ways of, okay, we have engaged all our procurement vendors.
Okay.
You can just drop it for the client. Okay, we have sorted all our granite supplier, we have sorted all our, even if they are not seeing it, they are seeing that some preparations are being done. Okay, we have tried to prepare the site office and site store.
Okay.
Right? And so with that, the client is seeing that even with that little progress, with that short period that you give them, you are still not silent. You are giving some updates for them to feel calm that, okay, we are on a good side. So it's all about communication. There is something in the corporate settings that no matter what you do, no matter the hard work you are doing, if you are not reporting it properly, it is not showing. It is not enough. So you have to be reporting properly to give clarity, right? Yeah. And it's normal, clients want a lot of attention. They want, you can break the, we have a lot of diaspora clients that, you know, we spend long hours on phone to get, because they are not here physically, so they need a lot of clarity, a lot, so that they can include a lot of things. So it's now for you to now give time, a time frame. Okay, I'll be available within social period in the morning, right? In the afternoon, I can be available in this time, in the evening, so that you can now segment those things. So if, no matter how a client really needs your attention and everything, if they know that, yes, this person needs his time to also achieve my job.
Yeah.
I want the time for communication. If it's giving me and scheduling communication time for me, then I will know that no matter if I remember something, instead of me calling him, he's not picking.
Yeah.
I know that by so time, he will be available to pick my call. Then I will call at that time or drop something ahead for us to discuss at that time. So it's all about scheduling, planning, and transparency.
Now, it seems communication has a very vital role that it plays with realistic projects.
Yeah.
Now, over time, has there ever been any issue where communication was not clear to clients, and how were you able to undo things like that? Because I mean, we humans, we have our own weakness, both from the client side and from the contractor side. So was there ever any point that communication served as well, or just went low, and then how were you able to navigate it? Or still on your peak, realistic project is always on the top of their communication game, accountability game? Because I remember in some of our previous episodes, you mentioned that there are times that you create a WhatsApp group for most of your clients to keep updating them on their, I mean, that's very good project management. So has there ever been a case where it was faulty?
Okay, there are cases like that, and it still occur once in a while.
Okay.
And the case is all about, when we spoke about terms and condition agreements earlier on, some clients don't read it.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
So there are cases whereby you have your times, because it's not everything that you remember to say. It's not everything, but you believe that you have a document that mentioned everything. You have given it to the client. But most times clients just go to the cost. They don't look at other things around it. So in a case where they did not read those things, and you see that whenever conversation is going on or project is going on, there are some things that they are not acting the way they are supposed to act. I mean, the client, they are still feeling like, why is this not this? Why is that not that? Then what you need to do is to take them back. If you have told them that, it's in our agreement, this is what it's supposed to be, or it's an agreement, this is what it's supposed to be, and the client is feeling like, I don't know, I'll go and check. If I will check, or I don't know is coming up like 2-3 times, and that thing is actually in your terms, you need to set up a kind of meeting, like a clarity meeting, to re-onboard again, and state some of the things that you think is in your terms and agreements, but the client haven't read, to give them all those clarity, right? So that it will reduce the complaints and things they are not clear about.
So from project managers' point of view, or let's just say from the project management perspective, so how important is it that the clients should actually understand the building process before starting? Because sometimes expectations are based more on emotions than reality. So how do you help them understand the building process before they start? I mean, you mentioned the clarity session. So what are some other things that you put in motion for them to understand that, this thing that we're embarking on, this is what it's going to be like. This is the person you're going to be speaking with. This is the supervisor attached to this. This and this and this are some of the process that we've put on board for your project.
Okay. We have something called program of work and construction methodology. At least if the client don't want to go through the document of construction methodology, we have the aspect of program of work that states what we are achieving milestone by milestone and their duration.
Okay.
So it talks about each stage of work from the foundation. It breaks down the foundation. In foundation, you will excavate, you do blinding, you do other things depending on the type of foundation you want to do. So all those things will be there. So now the duration that you want to use to do the foundation will be there, even if it's going to shift due to some things. Maybe you scheduled 8 weeks for your foundation, then you are now using 10 weeks. It's still within frame. The clients have seen the progress, and it will help them to in planning their funding. because maybe most times payment are made milestone by milestone, so it helps to plan. So that program of work actually gives, when BOQ gives clarity on fund,
Yeah.
on the financial breakdown of the cost of the project, program of work give clarity on time,
Okay.
and what should be achieved per time. So in week by week, what are things that to be achieved week by week by week till the end. So with that, clients can ask questions. Okay, we are getting to suspended floor by which month? You know, what are the things we need to do on that? So the program of work, when it comes to building construction, it helps a lot to give clients clarity on the stages of their work.
And in situation where there is a little bit of layback in the timeline, you get to communicate it with the
Yes.
clients. Now, another thing I want us to look at is from the social media aspect. Now, so many people have digested so many things from social media before coming over to say, oh, this is the vision for what I want to build. Do you think social media has now created like a false expectation for clients when it comes to construction timelines and budget? Now, there are instances where people say, how I moved from this to this to this in 3 months. Now they will now come, they will say, so this is what I want to build. Can we do it like this to this to this within so much? And when it doesn't happen that way after the advice, they feel like you're not capable. What kind of advice do you think you can give such a client that feels this in this kind of, that has this kind of mindset rather?
Okay, we need to know that there is a difference between social media information and the reality.
Yeah.
Right? Everything we are saying here is still more of the surface of the things.
Okay.
It is when you go into it, you see more about it.
Yeah.
So most things, is more of packaging. Social media, people tends to package things more, right? But it is the reality on ground that we would like to talk about more, right? So if the client comes with like, I want so and so within the period of time, we'll let them know why it is achievable and what are the implications of achieving it within that time. So they can now know that, okay, if we want to achieve it within this time, this is what it's going to cost us. If we want to achieve it in so time, in a more expanded time, this is what it's going to cost us, right? And if it's not achievable at all within that time frame, we need to let them know too, so that they won't be like, you promise us that you will hand over by this time and you are not handing over at that time. So that is how to solve that, to make them understand why and how it can be achieved.
Okay, so let's move into the balancing of equation.
Okay.
Now, if you're being honest, there are some mistakes that clients make that unknowingly frustrates the contractor. So let's start from the client, then we move to the contractor's part.
Okay.
Now, what are some of those unknowing mistakes? So it might be something they do subconsciously that is just, people are coming from different backgrounds to make inquiries. People are coming from different mindset and different perspective to make inquiries. So what are some of these unknowing habits? I've seen one before that a client is trying to make an inquiry and the person was being rude. To the contractor, the person was rude, but to the client, that's the way she speaks, that's her own way of life. So what are some of these subconscious things that clients can do and they unknowingly frustrates contractors?
Okay, one of the major one is indecisive or not being consistent with your decision. It affects a lot. So like I said, all your indecisiveness and everything the clients should try to make it everything in the design stage. Once you have concluded with your design, during the construction phase, corrections should be very, very limited or not at all.
Okay.
Corrections, I mean changes, not really corrections. I mean changes, saying that you are changing where this room is to the other one. Wow. You want to make the room bigger. You want to do this, you want to do that. They have to be minimal. All right. If you don't plan a swimming pool in the entire project before, and you want to bring on a swimming pool, if you don't plan, if you plan an average open terrace before, you now want to make it bigger. It comes with a lot of implication. You want to add additional room, or you didn't plan for a cinema room before. You just said, I think I will now need a cinema room. You need to think it in the design stage. So making series of corrections, making series of changes during construction is where issues comes up from. It costs money, costs a lot of things, changes here, changes there, changes there. So the client needs to be that. Now, in terms of maybe behavior of talk and everything, that one is a kind of personal thing that is a kind of common thing that people need to know, that whoever you engage are human beings too, and everybody needs to be treated right, even if you are paying them. So if the contractor is not rude back to you at the first instance, you need to watch how you need to try not to be rude to the contractor too. Yes, there can be conflicts, there can be arguments, but there are aspects of being a responsible and being a sensitive person in the way of dealing with things, because it also affects communication. Some things that should be resolved within couple of few conversation, if rudeness or some of those things had been into it, matters will not be resolved on time. So that's a personal thing that everybody should abide with in watching out for the manner of how people are being spoken to. And it's a vice versa thing. If the client is not rude, the contractor should not also be rude. All right. Yeah. So those are the things that needs to be watched out for.
Okay. So in a situation where, I think I like this angle where this is coming from. If the client and contractor should have like a personal relationship, now you know this person is your friend, and before you would want to say, why are you doing this thing like this? You might not really be comfortable trying to confront the person. Let's come from the client side. Now the client is hiring a contractor that is your friend. The contractor is the client's friend. Now the contractor is making so much mistake, but because the person is your friend, and it's a natural instinct that people find it not so comfortable to be able to confront their friends that you're not doing what I want. So how do you think things like that can be handled from client to contractor and from contractor to client? Like if the contractor is trying to explain to the client that is your friend that this thing is business, so and the suggestions you're bringing for this thing will not work. You're my client, you're not my friend now, but the suggestions you're bringing for this project might really not work. And then the client now starts to go all personal. Should be said you're my friend, should be said this. How do you want me to come and be paying this kind of amount of money for this? So how do you handle personal relationship and business?
Okay, personal relationship is totally different from business. Right? And if you want to engage somebody who is personal to you, being a friend or relative, to something that is like a business deal, like you want to know what's the capacity and the personality of the person. So if you are sure about that the incapacity in the sense that the person really know these things, is it the profession of that person? Then the personality, what's the integrity level of that person? So all those things need to come in place, because a relative or somebody that is personal to you, right, you cannot easily complain, do some things because the person is personal, right? So but because if it's a neutral person that you can easily say your mind, do a lot of things, I think is always most times better. All right, so that you can make your complaint, show your concerns, and if the person even breach your agreement, you can take it up as it should be. Because construction building is a lot of money, and it should not be joked with.
Personally for me also, I feel I want to do business with people that I don't know than to want to do it with close and knitted people. And let's go into the developers angle. Now, would you say construction works better when clients are heavily involved or when they trust professionals and step back a bit? Or should there be like a balance, like a compromise? Would there be some sort of, oh, you can get involved in this? There's some people that don't work well under duress. And when I mean under duress, is under pressure. Every day the client is coming to check. Have you not done this one? Have you this? Have you done like this? Have you done that? All those kind of things. So do you think it is okay for the clients to be heavily involved or to be heavily uninvolved?
Okay, the best thing is for the clients to be not to be heavily involved, right? So do your due diligence before engaging the contractor, and once you engage, let them do their work. As much as they are meeting up the expectations, right, and there is a proof of what they are doing, right? So it's always good to let them do their work. In putting being so much inclusive in what they are doing will affect a lot of things, because even if a little issue come up that they will easily resolve, because you are the client, you have raised your heart up because there is a little this thing on site, so all those things are not needed and they can sort it out, without no issues. But putting those things that don't need consign is even going to take time. You will make them do things out of fear of they want to quickly satisfy you because you are coming to the site every day. So it's not needed. What is needed is once in a while check and regular update and reports.
So on the aspect of quality control and supervision, what are some of the underlying factors that we need to consider with this?
Okay, that boils down to the responsibility of the contractor.
Okay.
Right. Making sure that things are being tested. Okay. Quality control is about checking what is being done. Right. Checking the quality of what is being done, and if there is need for improvement or correction or adjustment, it has to be done. And if it's a big project, there are cases whereby the client will also have like a consultant. If it's a big project, that will have a consultant, maybe a structural engineer consultant that comes to check the quality of the jobs that is being done. So it happens like that also. So those are the factors of quality control. Then the other thing is checking, trying to know the record of the clients. With that, once with that, things can be better controlled. If it's a contractor that has been doing good projects before, it means most likely you are going to do a good project on your job too.
Okay. Now, still on the quality control, I believe it's a two to tango thing, coming from the part of the contractor and also from the client. Okay. I mean, if the client is coming with somebody that would also be supervising on their end, and then the contractor has to make sure that whatever material and properties that are being brought must be of good quality, where do we draw the line that you as the contractor, this is the line you don't cross? You as the client, with what you're bringing, this is the line you don't cross.
If it's a professional that is doing the quality control for the client, then that makes sense. Okay. The professional also, because if it's a built environment professional, maybe another builder or another engineer or another quantity surveyor or another architect, so the person will be able to know where to come in and where not to come in. But if it's not a professional, they will always be consigned the way the client will also always be consigned about anything. All right. So if the quality control person who is trying to help the client to watch over what is being done is a professional person, then things will be handled properly. It is only if it's not a professional person in that field, that's where there will always be back and forth, and they will be too inclusive in what the contractor is doing, and it can cause conflicts and breach of responsibilities.
So I want us to go back a little for someone that is a newbie in understanding building construction.
Okay.
So I want to ask that what are the things that a client should expect from a contractor, and what should contractors also expect from a client, especially for somebody that is just new, or probably I'm a client.
Okay.
And I'm trying to hire this contractor. I've done my due diligence, or let's say due diligence is number one. Is doing that due diligence enough for me to hire a contractor, or there are some other underlying factors that I also have to consider?
Due diligence, due diligence is not particular to, or I would say due diligence is peculiar to the type of industry that you want to play in.
Okay.
Right? So due diligence is, what are due diligence is trying to know how qualified that company is, right? How their track record, those are the due diligence. So if they meet up those criteria that you should watch out for, which is like, who are the professionals working with that construction company?
Okay.
What are the track record? What are the projects that they have done? Who are their existing clients?
Okay.
So knowing all these things, right, will help. Right, so those are the due diligence to know that this company will actually do what they are supposed to do. Every other underlining is user experience. That is, how are they reporting to you properly? You cannot really know until you get into it. How are they reporting to you properly? How are they doing this and that to you properly? So those are the things around it.
Now, do you think some people hire contractors based only on prices and then become shocked when quality becomes a problem?
Yes, a lot do that. Even some people, when they have 2 or 3 contractors and they see that this one that is of low price is not really as competent, there is glaring that this one is not really as competent as the other ones, they will just feel like, okay, because of the cost, I will still go with this lowest one and try to manage him. I will try to manage that contractor. But when they eventually get on it, then the management is not managing. Right? So that's where it is. So some people deliberately go for the cheapest, thinking they will be able to go around it, but it still doesn't work. All right? They didn't get the quality that they need. So most people do that, try to go for the lowest, but that's not the best. The record, where there's a saying that where quality matters, the cost don't matter there.
Okay.
So no matter the cost, if the quality and the value is going to be there, the issue of cost is by the side.
Wow. So using realistic projects as a case study,
okay,
what does a healthy contractor-client relationship, what does it look like in real life?
It's our top priority, right? Because if we don't have a healthy communication, it means the client will not get good clarity. And if there is not good clarity, it is the project which connects you guys together is at risk.
Okay.
And if the risk eventually happen on the project, what put you together have separated you. And we are so much about the life cycle of each client that we have. We want a long time, like infinity kind of relationship with our client. That is, if we build for you this year, we are building for you again next year, we are building again, you are referring us. So for every client, because of the long-term relationship, long-term kind of achievement we want to be having with them, so that clarity, communication, relationship to make sure that they achieve success on their project is paramount.
So let's drag it into collaboration and conflicts in construction. So when there is a conflict in construction and collaboration, and there's a case of collaboration, maybe with other developers or with other artisans, or in cases where it has to be that it is the contractor, it is the client that is bringing a particular person to supervise. So when collaboration is involved and there is conflict in construction, let's use realistic projects as a case study. If something like that happens, how do you navigate?
Okay, is once you are being sincere, and you are able to, justify whatever the issue is, And like I said earlier, before you get on a project with a client, you have tried to qualify your client too. That how can this client be understanding? How can this client be, have empathy on how things goes?
Yeah.
So with that, things are being resolved. Though we avoid that a lot, it rarely happens that there will now be a lot of disputes with clients. We don't allow that because we have prepared all these things from the beginning of planning for the project.
Now, over the years, this is like a very reflective question.
Okay.
And over the years, what has working with different kind of clients? I mean, you must have seen different kind of clients handling more than 30 projects, successful projects
Okay.
in 7 years. Seeing different kind of clients, like what has it taught you personally about people and construction?
Okay, understanding people. You whoever you are dealing with,
Yeah.
and dealing with people that that you want to have a long-term relationship with, the earlier you understand them, the better. So, and people are unique in their own way, in their own things, right? So the earlier you understand, the earlier you know. There are some clients that if you have an agreement on when they have to make a particular payment, make sure you don't follow up with them. Wait till that day before you follow up. Some, if you don't follow up, they will blame you for not following up. Some, if you follow up, they will blame you for following up. So their clients are dynamic, right? So you now need to understand those things. Understand when there are some clients, you don't argue with them, even if they are wrong at that moment. You let them,
Just let them be.
let them say whatever this thing is, and sometimes you learn from those things. It's always good to get feedbacks. Get observations, no matter how it may look like. If you settle down properly, you still get 1 or 2 points that you need to add. So in that process of getting to know a particular client, you need a lot of patience.
Yeah.
To be able to understand them. So after understanding them, you know where to get in, you know where to get out. So that's how it's being managed. That's how we manage.
Talking about feedback, so how well do realistic projects handle criticism? There are different kind of criticism. There's evaluative criticism, there's constructive criticism, and there is destructive criticism. So in the years in which you've handled different clients, I'm sure you would have met clients that have each of these kind of criticism. So how well do realistic projects now handle some of this criticism, and in years to come, in other projects to come, you're able to impute those criticism to build more momentum and more growth for the organization?
Okay, we document them.
Okay.
Whatever criticism we get from client, whatever feedback that we get,
Yeah.
we try to know the angle they are coming from.
Okay.
Even sometimes, it's not that we are not doing that thing properly.
Yeah.
They are not just clear about it. So if the client now give a lot of complaint, right?
Yeah.
Even though they still see that at the end of that thing, at the end of the day, we achieve that thing that they want. But because they don't understand the process, all right, we also have the responsibility to let them understand that process. So that is why we, whatever feedback, we try to go back to our drawing board. What should we do? Okay, for example, when we are talking earlier, we talk about maybe a client pays you and immediately they are on your neck that you have not started our job. Yeah. So what did we do? We go back to our policy and adjust that. Okay, in reality, you cannot collect payment today and get on the job the next day. Right? Because you don't even have control on when the client is going to pay.
True.
You can only try your best. So a client that you have been speaking with for over a month or two before they eventually pay, you as the contractor, you have been patient for a month or two before client pays you.
Yeah.
But the client, once as they pay you today, you are on their job tomorrow. So what did we do? We go back to this thing, have it in our terms that when you pay, you need to give us 2 to 3 weeks or more, depending on your type of job, before we finally moved on your project. Do you get?
Yeah.
So with that, they know that, okay, it's already in the terms, it's already in our conversation.
Yeah.
So every feedback, we go back. Is it clarity that we didn't give this client, or is it us that needs to do some things better, right?
Yeah.
And we do that.
Oh,
Even during the project, we don't wait till the end of the project.
okay.
Month by month, for example, we try to get feedback from the client to know how we work for you in the last month. What are the things you observe? What are the things you don't like? Then we'll try to improve it in the next month. So by the time you improve on what your clients, improving on your client feedback.
Yeah.
So this particular client, you improve on his or her feedback for like 2-3 months.
Okay.
By the time you get to the 4th month, there shouldn't be much complaint again, because by that time you have understand how the client wants things to go for them.
That's actually a very beautiful one, and I must confess, I love it. So honestly, today's conversation has showed us that construction, the biggest problems are not always the blocks, the cement, or the material. It can sometimes be from communication, expectation, and even a breach of contract. So from everything we've mentioned, you mentioned clients that don't take terms and conditions serious. So if you're watching this video right now, make sure you always read your terms and conditions, so that to avoid miscommunication between client and contractor. Because when clients and contractor are not aligned, even a well-funded project can turn to two people becoming sworn enemies. Yes. So, and for me, I think one major takeaway that I am taking from this is that no client and contractor, there should not be a dictatorship relationship. It should be a partnership, collaboration, and a friendly relationship. It might not even be friendly per se, it might just be a professional relationship. Everybody should understand their JD, their job description. The client should understand that, oh, this is the level you don't go beyond. The contractor should also understand that this is the level that you don't go beyond. So you have to stay tuned. And if you've not watched the previous episode, go run over to YouTube right now and follow Realistic Projects and understand some of these things that we're talking about. From everything, there's just a thread connecting one topic to the other, one episode to the other. And if you have any inquiry or you need a professional guidance, reach out to Realistic Projects on Instagram and the number below. A huge thank you to Mr. Giwa for sharing his knowledge, insights, and experience on the relationship between client and contractor. So, like I do say, it's okay to be a work in progress and also a masterpiece. See you on the next episode.